All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are going deep into the world of Sunny Jetsun
Deep.
and his poetry collection, Cosmic Idyllic, Paradisic Euphoric.
Wow.
This is not your average poetry reading.
No.
Jetsun, he blends romance, spirituality, social commentary,
Uh-huh.
all seen through like this psychedelic lens.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And to unpack it all, we've got our
I'll
expert,
try my best.
a poetry whisperer. I think we're going to need it.
We'll see how it goes.
To be honest with you, some of these lines are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, cobalt rhinos cross a golden kimono skyline?
Mm.
What does that even mean? But I do want to give a heads up to our listeners.
Okay.
This stuff gets pretty R-rated.
All right.
So if strong language and mature themes aren't your thing,
Yeah.
this might not be the episode for you.
Fair enough.
But if you're ready to, like, expand your mind a little,
Yeah. Okay.
stick around. So I guess the big questions for today are,
All right.
what makes Jetsun's writing so surreal?
Hmm.
What controversial topics does he dive into? And is there a poem that, like, speaks to you personally as an expert?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with the surrealism.
Okay.
Jetsun's poems are just, like, packed with images and phrases
Right.
that feel like they're straight out of a fever dream.
Yeah.
You're reading along, and suddenly you've got, like, a
Mhm.
psychedelic chandelier baptizing a goose in the Garden of Earthly Delights.
Interesting.
It's wild. What is he doing with this kind of imagery?
I think it's more than just shock value.
Yeah.
It's to jar us out of like our everyday thinking.
Mhm.
He's trying to say, hey, wake up.
Right.
You know, look at the world differently. And
Yeah.
it's effective. It makes you stop and think
Yeah.
about what these crazy images could mean.
Right. Like, why a goose? Why a chandelier? Why the Garden of Earthly Delights?
Exactly.
It makes you think, what's going on here? I think
Well,
that's the whole point.
Right.
It's about breaking down mental barriers and opening yourself up
Yeah,
to new possibilities.
for sure.
Right? And it's not just the visuals. Jetsun's language is just as unconventional.
Oh, yeah.
He'll put together words and phrases that don't, like, logically go together.
Yeah.
But they create this evocative, dreamlike atmosphere
Right.
that just draws you in. It's like he's making his own language.
It is its own language.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's trying to bypass your logical mind
Right.
to speak directly to your subconscious.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he's tapping into something primal,
Uh,
beyond ordinary language.
yeah.
And speaking of pushing boundaries,
All right.
let's talk about the controversial topics Jetsun tackles.
Okay.
He doesn't shy away from anything, does he?
He does not. He goes right for the jugular,
Mm.
especially when it comes to like societal structures, politics, and organized religion. I
Right.
mean, to take this line, they made it very clear, have no time for ravers.
Yeah.
It's a pretty clear critique, I think.
Of the establishment.
The establishment, exactly.
Right.
Or when he talks about fake media budgeting for a Federal Bureau of Narcotics on the rampage.
Wow. Not subtle at all.
Right. He's calling out hypocrisy, you know.
Yeah.
They demonize certain substances while ignoring the real issues.
Right.
And he doesn't stop there. He goes on to ask,
Hmm.
who owns my right to life, liberty, pursuance of happiness, mate?
Yeah.
It's like he's throwing the whole concept of societal control back at us.
He's really challenging authority there.
He is.
And he gives specific examples like the criminalization of marijuana under Clinton and all the resources dedicated to the war against marijuana.
Exactly. And he points out how many people use cannabis globally.
Right. 1 in 25, according to the UN.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like he's saying this is normal. Why are we criminalizing it?
Exactly.
He also takes aim at war, mentioning this horrendous war
Yeah.
and contrasting it with Buddha's teachings on peace.
Right.
It feels like he's questioning the very idea of war.
He's definitely challenging the motivations behind it, especially given his stance on nonviolence.
Yeah, and he doesn't shy away from challenging those in power.
He doesn't.
He even references the Manhattan Project and Project Blue Book, which suggests a distrust of government and their activities.
A deep distrust, I'd say.
Now, you're not endorsing or condemning any of these views, right?
No, not at all.
We're just trying to understand Jetsun's perspective.
Trying to see where he's coming from.
Exactly, and what he's saying through his poetry.
And hopefully get the listeners thinking, too.
Right on. So we've talked about surreal imagery and controversial topics.
Yeah.
But there's another side to Jetsun I want to explore.
Okay.
His portrayal of women.
Interesting.
Because throughout his poems, there's this reverence for the feminine,
Mm,
often expressed romantically, sometimes erotically.
right.
How do you interpret that?
It's a complex aspect of his work.
Yeah.
He's very open about his sexuality, his attraction to women,
Right.
but at the same time, there's this deep respect and awe
Mm.
that comes through in his writing.
Yeah, like when he describes a woman with dazzling green stars in her oniric eyes, twinkling and cascading luscious hair.
Yeah,
It's not just lust, there's something more profound there.
definitely. He uses celestial imagery,
Hmm.
almost elevating women to goddess-like status.
Right. Yeah.
Like they embody both beauty and spiritual power.
And then there's that line, I am the dreamer, you are the dream.
Ah, yes.
It suggests a connection between masculine and feminine.
It does. It speaks to his belief in equality
Right. Yeah.
between the sexes, both physically and spiritually.
So it's not just about physical attraction.
It's not.
It's about recognizing the power and beauty of the feminine.
In all its forms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's refreshing to see a male poet
Yeah.
embrace the feminine in such a reverent way.
It's definitely a departure from the usual objectification.
Yeah, Jetson's work feels much more nuanced and respectful.
I agree.
All right, so we've covered a lot here.
We have
Surreal imagery, social commentary, Jetson's take on love and the feminine.
a lot to unpack.
Now I got to know, is there a poem that really resonated with you, personally?
There is one that really stood out.
Okay.
It's the one that starts with, wonder why at any age.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What is it about that poem that speaks to you?
Well, for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's about finding your own path
Okay.
and embracing it, regardless of what society says.
Right.
There's a beautiful defiance in it.
Yeah.
It goes against conforming to a specific timeline or life script.
It's like he's saying, screw your expectations. I'm
Exactly.
going to live my life on my own terms.
Yeah, he's challenging the idea that there's a right age for things,
Right.
or that we should always be striving for more.
Mhm.
He seems content with his own path, even if it's unconventional.
And he's asking others to respect that choice.
Yes, he says, please don't think I should be somewhere else.
Yeah, there's a longing for understanding and acceptance
Definitely.
while still asserting his independence.
It's powerful. He's not worried about the past or the future, not about what he should be doing.
Right.
He's present in the moment, and that's where he finds his truth and joy.
He wants to share that joy,
He does.
but he also needs people to accept him for who he is,
Absolutely.
to see the beauty in his unconventional path.
Even if they don't understand it.
And I think that's the essence of Jetson's work.
It is.
It's a call to embrace our individuality
to find our own paths.
and to live authentically, even if it means venturing into strange temples.
Exactly. Even if others don't understand. Yeah. Temples that others might not want to go to.
Exactly. It takes guts to put yourself out there like that.
It's
And
guts.
say, this is me, take it or leave it.
Totally.
And that fearlessness is all over Jetson's work.
Yeah.
He's not holding back,
Yeah.
whether it's personal experiences or his critique of society. Speaking of which, there were a few things in the source material that I wanted to touch on.
All right.
One that really jumped out at me was his references to Tantric temples.
Ah, yes, the Tantric temples. They're a big part of his exploration of sexuality and spirituality.
He even says he wants 1 million Tantric temples like this around the world.
1 million.
What do you think he sees in Tantra that's so appealing?
Well, for Jetson, Tantra seems to be about embracing everything,
Okay.
including sexuality, as a path to enlightenment. It's
Mhm.
not about repressing desires,
Right.
but using them for spiritual growth.
He's not shying away from the erotic aspects of Tantra.
No, he's not.
Some of his descriptions are pretty explicit.
It can be a bit much for some, yeah.
But I think it's important to remember
Okay.
that he's writing from a place of reverence
Right.
for the feminine and the sacredness of sex.
When approached consciously and respectfully.
So it's not just shock value.
No?
There's a deeper meaning behind these themes.
Absolutely. He's challenging taboos
Mm.
around sex and spirituality,
Right.
offering a different perspective.
Yeah, one that's aligned with ancient traditions.
And spiritual practices.
It ties back into his message of embracing the fullness of life,
Exactly.
not denying any part of ourselves.
Right. Integrating all aspects of our being.
The physical, emotional, and spiritual.
A harmonious whole.
Now, another thing that pops up a lot
Okay.
is his exploration of psychedelic experiences.
Yeah.
He talks about LSD, MDMA, marijuana,
hmm
often in the context of spiritual awakening.
It's clear he sees them as tools for breaking down barriers of perception and
right.
exploring consciousness.
His descriptions of his own experiences are vivid,
They are very vivid.
using language that mirrors the psychedelic state itself.
Fluid, kaleidoscopic, full of twists and turns.
He even suggests they have therapeutic potential, saying they can help psychotics with LSD and ecstasy come to their senses.
Interesting.
Do you think he's advocating for the use of these substances?
I think he's advocating for open-mindedness,
Okay.
challenging the mainstream narrative.
Right, the one that demonizes all drug use.
Exactly. He sees them as valuable tools for growth.
But only if used responsibly and with intention.
So he's not just talking about getting high.
No, he's talking about using them
Yeah.
to access deeper awareness,
Right.
to break free from the ego and connect with something greater.
Yeah, he's also critiquing the war on drugs,
Yes, absolutely.
pointing out the hypocrisy and negative consequences.
There's definitely a social commentary element there.
He's challenging the status quo, questioning drug policy.
Yeah, and highlighting the impact on freedom.
It's interesting because he advocates for responsible use,
Right.
but he also acknowledges the dangers.
He does.
He talks about the monkey mind and Maya, suggesting these substances can be deceptive.
If approached with the wrong mindset.
It's like he's saying, don't just blindly consume.
Exactly.
Use them with intention, with respect.
And with a willingness to face your shadow self.
Right. He's inviting us to approach these experiences with maturity and self-awareness.
Recognizing it can be challenging, but also enlightening. And it's fascinating how he links these experiences to his spiritual beliefs.
Right.
He talks about swimming around different dimensions, tuning in at different levels, and playing with the nucleus of your beautiful lover's heart.
It's like he sees these experiences
Yeah.
as a way to access a deeper reality.
It definitely ties into his broader spiritual perspective,
Which seems heavily influenced by Eastern traditions.
with references to Dharma, Karma, and Buddhist teachings.
But he also mentions Sufi mantra and Tantric temples.
It's a real mix of influences.
A unique spiritual tapestry.
It's very personal and experiential,
Yeah.
which is reflected in his writing style. He's not preaching, he's sharing his own insights.
Inviting the reader along on the journey.
He's more of a guide,
Yeah, through these uncharted territories.
offering glimpses of a reality that's both familiar and strange.
Beautiful and challenging.
And even though his work can be provocative,
It can be.
there's this underlying sense of joy and wonder.
He loves life with all its complexities.
He celebrates nature, the power of love,
Yeah.
and the potential for transformation.
And he does it all with this raw and refined poetic voice.
Playful and profound.
But truly unique voice.
Before we wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to bring you, the listener, into the conversation. What's resonating with you about Sunny Jetsun's poetry?
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Is it the surreal imagery, the controversial themes, his exploration of sexuality and spirituality?
Or something else entirely.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. So we've covered a lot of ground with Sunny Jetsun.
Wait.
His poetry, from surreal imagery
Yeah.
to the controversial topics. His blend of spirituality and eroticism.
Why a blend?
It's been wild, to say the least.
A wild ride for sure.
What I find really striking is that
Yeah.
Jetsun, he defies easy categorization.
He does.
Not bound by conventions or expectations.
No.
He's forging his own path and encouraging us to do the same.
Absolutely.
He challenges us to question everything,
Everything.
to break free
Yeah.
from those limitations imposed by society,
Right.
to embrace the full spectrum of human experience.
It's a full spectrum.
He's not afraid to be provocative,
No, he's not.
to push boundaries, to make us think
Makes us squirm a little.
but I think that's part of the power.
I think so too.
He forces us to confront our own assumptions
Assumptions.
and consider different ways of seeing the world.
Different perspectives.
He reminds us there's more to life than the mundane and the ordinary,
There is.
that there's magic and mystery out there,
If we're willing to look.
if we're open to it.
Open to it, yeah.
And he does it all with this incredible command of language,
Oh, yeah.
weaving words and images together.
He's a master.
Creates these unforgettable tapestries of sound and meaning.
A true artist.
So as we wrap up this deep dive
Okay.
into Sunny Jetsun's world,
The world of Sunny Jetsun.
we want to leave you with a question. Inspired by his poetry, if you could break free
Break free.
from all societal expectations, all limitations, what path would you choose?
What would you do?
What dreams would you pursue?
What adventures?
What adventures would you embark on?
What truths would you seek?
We encourage you to explore these questions.
Explore.
Tap into that rebellious spirit.
Yeah, that rebellious spirit.
That's within each of us.
It's there.
And create a life that's vibrant, unconventional,
Unconventional.
as meaningful as Sunny Jetsun's poetry.
As meaningful as his poetry.
And for those of you who want to delve deeper
Keeper, right?
into Jetson's poetic universe,
Okay.
I highly recommend his other collections.
His other works, yeah.
Driving my scooter through the asteroid field, coming down over Venus,
Wow.
and Green Eve. Don't lose the light vortex. My brain's gone on holiday. Free-flowing feelings.
Quite a title.
Both available wherever books are sold.
Go check them out.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.
Dive deep.